You didn't build a 7-figure HVAC or electrical business just to stay busy or sell it off to some big private equity firm. You built it to lead, to build a legacy, to become the trusted local legend in your town. This is Local Service Legends, the home service contractors podcast for owners who play the long game. Hosted by Leigh and Justin Fortato, we talk marketing that drives booked jobs, operations that scale, and the mindset it takes to build something worth keeping. You'll hear from real owners who kept control, stayed local, and built companies their families can be proud of. If you're ready to grow, lead, and leave your name on something that lasts, let's get to work.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Local Service Legends. As always, got Justin right here to my left, your right, Alexis behind the board. Today, we're just going to answer a bunch of questions. Before we get started, though, Justin, how was your week?
It was good. How about yours?
It was pretty good, man. A lot of the stuff we were talking about was lead generation and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure Alexis kind of got onto the Reddit today and found some questions that some people were having. So,
good. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's go ahead and get some of these questions answered and see if we can help some people out.
Yeah. So this week I kind of wanted to go over real questions that contractors would ask.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the best place for that would be Reddit. So this first one comes from the subreddit r/HVAC advice. They ask, what do you use to run your HVAC business? Hi, we're starting our own HVAC company, and I was wondering what is the best stack is to use for running an HVAC business. I've heard of ServiceTitan, Jobber, and Housecall Pro, live call centers, and AI call centers being thrown around, especially for CRM and handling inbound calls. Does anyone have personal experience with any of these, or any reason why one might be better than the others?
I think we have experience with all of them. One thing I'm not going to do is speak negative. I think that they all have different, almost people that they serve,
right?
You know, depending on the size of your business. If you're fairly new, Jobber might be the one for you. We work with a lot of clients that use Housecall Pro. That's our preferred platform is Housecall Pro. It integrates really easily into our software. As far as other software, though, really that's all you need when you come with a company like ServiceTitan. We put our own platform called Service Connect Pro, and we integrate it in the Housecall Pro so that we can do a lot of automations, a lot of speed to lead campaigns, call tracking, basically reporting. Our system does everything on the marketing side, and we utilize Housecall Pro to kind of book the jobs, create the estimates, handle the field, handle your text getting scheduled and things like that. What do you think about AI call centers? Do you think that's there already yet, Justin, or do you think they should stick kind of maybe a hybrid model?
Yeah, I think having a hybrid model is probably the best if you want it to start. I think if you don't have a call, if you don't have a CSR handling your calls, I think AI is the way to go. I also think that AI is getting better. You know, I don't think it's something that you just have to write off. I think you can start using an AI in a hybrid mode. Let's say, for instance, you want humans answering the call, from 9 to 5, and then after 5 o'clock, have AI start picking them up.
Yeah, I think it's good too for a lot of customers just getting started. I mean, clients getting started. So if you're starting your own business, you may be on an estimate, or you may be in an attic right now and you can't answer that phone.
Right.
I would like to see an AI agent pick up the phone if you're after 3 or 4 rings. If you're not available, pick the phone up. That way you have somebody answer that phone. They're not just feeling like they went to voicemail. And you can train the AI to handle it certain ways. You can get all their information and understand what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. If it's a repair, if it's an install, gather any details for the job and let them know, hey, we got all your information. Our scheduling agent's going to call you back in 10 minutes. And that gives you a little 10-minute window to where, you don't have to rush through an estimate. You can spend the time you need with a client to try to sell them that job.
Right. And they're getting pretty good at being able to book.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if you have your calendar all set up and the AI agent can just book it online, mm-hmm. that's probably your best bet. That way you don't lose any business, but at the same time, you can really train that thing to handle calls how you want it handled.
Right.
And it won't you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that rogue employee.
Yeah.
That AI agent is always going to answer it as you want. So I think it's definitely something you need to look out for. I don't know if I would go 100% AI call center because you don't know how those AIs are trained. But I definitely think an assistant where if you can't answer the phone call, an AI will pick it up, answer it how you want it to be handled. I think that's a great idea to use.
Although they are getting better by the day.
Right.
So
they are. I think long term, these things are going to be better than humans answering their phone. They're going to understand what closes jobs and how to answer calls and things like that. I don't know if it's going to be in the next month, 2 months, but I could see years down the road that these AI agents are much better at handling calls and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other software that you think they would need to run their business? I mean, I like fleet trackers, GPS trackers on the vehicles. I think is important. If you have a big crew, I think tracking your vehicles, that's also a good thing. We know a company called SafePoint that does them, and they do a great job. That way, you kind of understand if they're speeding on the roads. They kind of you don't want somebody your crew speeding through a 25-mile-an-hour school zone and having people mad at you because they see the name of the truck on the side. Also, just kind of understanding where they're at if anything gets stolen. I think that's a. If I had a fleet, I'd definitely have GPS on my tools and my trucks. Yeah. So, Company Cam. I like Company Cam. It's another good one. Taking pictures on the job sites. So I would definitely use Company Cam. Integrate that with your CRM. You can use all those photos for your Google business profiles. You can use them for your website. And it also has some accountability. So you're showing the customers, hey, look, this was before, this is after.
Right.
So utilizing Company Cam as well, I think is a big deal. I would invest in that. I think that's about. Anything else at the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head.
I think that's all I got too. I'm sure throughout the podcast, other ideas will come up, but if they do, I'll just interrupt.
Just interrupt.
Yeah.
This next one is also asking for help. So.
Okay. What else we got here?
This other question comes from the subreddit r/small business. They say new HVAC business help, email, website, phone, etc. So they say, we are in the process of creating an HVAC business. LLC is set up, license application has been submitted, logo has been created, and now we are moving on to the next steps. I'm struggling/overwhelmed because there are a million options for every step we need to do, and every Google search only provides advertised results. We are currently looking into creating the business email, website, and possibly a business phone number. Is there a program that offers these services in one package? Is it more affordable to do these individually? We want the professional email to be something along the lines of johndoe@companyemail.com, and a simple website that doesn't need any fancy features. GoDaddy looks like it offers domain, website, email, and phone line, but everything is an individual price. Is GoDaddy good? Expensive? Are there red flags? We will use a management software, Housecall Pro, for invoicing, scheduling, etc. What do I need to set up so people can leave reviews, Yelp account, Google business account? What else?
Well, simple thing. Call ServiceTitan, and we will handle about 99% of that stuff for you. But GoDaddy, stay away from those websites. They're trashed. I'm just going to call it out there. You don't want.
No, you're right.
I don't like the way, and this is what I struggle because he's not putting importance on this website, and that's probably one of the most important things you can do after your phone number. Clearly he needs to get that first, phone number. He asked how to get that. But company, I think you using Gmail for your company.
Right.
That's the best way to do. So your company email, Gmail is fairly priced. It's very, I guess you could say, user friendly. It's easy to set up. GoDaddy, we buy our domain names off of GoDaddy. I wouldn't use any of the website features. If you want ease, you can get Outlook on GoDaddy, and I would agree to that. I do my domain name, my email address. That's probably the simplest setup. You basically click a few buttons, and GoDaddy is going to automatically set the email up for you. So that's the easiest way if you're not tech savvy. Phone line, there's plenty of options out there. I think if you are mobile, you want to look into something like a voice over IP line. There's a company, I think they just changed their name, that used to be called Open Phone. There's Ring Central. A lot of good voice over IP phone companies, and a lot of the cable companies also will sign deals with Ring Central, I think it is. That way you can have your calls at a desktop phone in your office. They can come to your phone after. So I would look into maybe a voice over IP phone system. Let's see where else we got on here.
What do I need to set up so people can leave reviews? That's Google Business.
Yeah. That's probably
you need a website, Google Business.
Yeah. Website and Google Business and a phone number are all necessary.
Right.
So, and then as far as that, Google Business, Housecall Pro, you're going to be using Housecall Pro. So I would make sure that you connect Housecall Pro to Google and have the reviews automatically sent every time you get an invoice sent. That's the easiest, quickest way to get reviews.
Right.
So let's see what else we got here. Is GoDaddy good, expensive? No, GoDaddy is really cheap, and it's really, you get what you pay for. So that's the biggest red flag. You're going to get what you pay for. When you're building your online presence, your website and the tools that you have, that's the foundation for everything. You can't do digital marketing. You won't get search results. You won't get found in any listings if you don't have a good website. So that's one thing I would not skimp on. I would not go for the cheapest price. You need to get a good quality website, one that's going to look professional. This is basically your storefront online. So everything has to be top notch. You don't want somebody looking at the website saying, this is an unprofessional website, roll out. You'd be surprised how much business you're going to lose that way. That website has to be clean, professional, have the right call to actions, have professional photos. It has to have all the services. A good website has a lot of things that you need to build into it. So I would hire a professional to do the website. Do not skimp. Do not do one of those do-it-yourself builders like GoDaddy has. You're just going to fall short of what you really need to succeed in the home service businesses, especially HVAC. That's probably one of the most competitive industries around in the South, at least. And you need every advantage you can get. And if you get a GoDaddy website, you'll lose every single day.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of clients come to us with GoDaddy websites or websites just that they paid, almost next to nothing for.
Right.
And none of them, they all had to be rebuilt. We had to rebuild everybody's website.
Right.
Because most people coming to us have websites from GoDaddy or from somebody that didn't know what they were doing or whatever. So GoDaddy's probably the biggest culprit.
Yeah. And I don't want to toot our horn or say we're better than anybody else, but you almost got to stay in your lane. Like, I don't think that I can have somebody to come in and fix my AC or fix my heater or I can't do a better job than somebody that does that their whole life, right? People like us, that's all we've done for 30 years, So if you think you can go to a DIY builder website and just throw together a website real quick, and your competitor has an agency that's been doing it for 30 years, how do you think your website is going to compete against that?
Right.
It's nearly impossible. So just like, you wouldn't try to fix or do something yourself that that's not what you do for a living. I wouldn't do it with a website either because it's that important to your business.
I don't even touch my vehicle because I don't know nothing about them.
Right. I'm not a mechanic, so I don't fix my car. I'm not a plumber. I don't fix my pipes. But what I do is we do digital marketing. So I feel that I'm in a good place to where if I needed to outrank somebody, outcompete them, I could.
Right.
Especially if they weren't, that's not their profession. I mean, the amount of stuff, education and changes that happen on a daily basis with Google, website's not one of those things I would try to do myself unless I have a lot of experience in the back doing it. Other than that, I think that's it. We kind of touched on all of those items. Gmail or Outlook for email, just a quick little rundown. Not GoDaddy for a website. Go ahead and use GoDaddy for your domain and your email. Use Housecall Pro. That's great. We love Housecall Pro for invoicing and scheduling. Set up your Google Business profile so that you can get the reviews. Use a voice over IP company like Ring Central or OpenPhone for your phones. And I think all of that is actually pretty price conscious too. All those are decent prices. It's something that anybody can get. So,
yeah, I think you covered it all.
Yep.
Awesome. So next we're going to kind of move into more ads. So this next question is from the subreddit r/lead generation. says the best source of lead generation for trade businesses: HVAC, roofing, painting, fencing, etc. They said, I used to run Meta Business ads, but then things went super crazy this past month and realized I need to try other traffic sources. I do lead generation for trade businesses, example, HVAC, roofing, painting, fencing, etc. Wondering what are the best sources to generate leads are, paid and also SEO/organic based if anyone has suggestions. Facebook has been a nightmare and lost most clients, so need to try to find something else that works.
Yeah, Facebook can be a nightmare if you don't know what you're doing. And you know, you got to understand the psychology behind Facebook. But if you're going for demand-based marketing, like if you're looking for people that are in demand for your services, you got to be on Google. You got to be on Google. You know, Facebook, it does work, but like I said earlier, you have to understand the psychology behind it for it to work. You got to be able to answer or respond to the leads when they come in, like almost immediately, because people are not technically looking for your services on Facebook. So
Right. That's just browsing. You know,
Right.
I think
they're not in demand.
Right. And it all depends on what you're looking to serve as well. So like if you're trying to run an inspection deal or a maintenance agreement deal, something that's low cost, and people will say, oh, okay, yeah, I haven't had my AC maintenance maintained in a while. They'll be more likely to convert on that because it's kind of a spur of the moment decision. It's not expensive. It's cheap. Realize, hey, I haven't done this in a while. Now, AC repair, I wouldn't go to Facebook if you're looking to get AC repair jobs. I don't know a whole lot of people that search in Facebook for AC repair companies near me and things like that. You know, the Facebook groups are good for those. If you're in the neighborhood moms groups and things like that, if you got somebody that can hang out in there and kind of get alerted when people are looking, that's a good place to do things organically and don't cost you anything. Just wait for people to look for AC repair or a generator installation and things like that, and you need to respond quickly there. But like I say, everybody's been in those groups, so you know there's going to be about 50 people responding. So
Right.
You're going to go up against 50 people. Like Justin was talking about, paid, you have to be there. You need, Google paid and organic. You need a good SEO strategy so that you're not just paying out the butt for leads all the time. Because PPC ads can get pretty expensive, especially depending on what time of the year, how many people are bidding on them.
Mm-hmm.
But those are very high intentful searches. People are looking for that specific service at that specific time. So that's going to be a more expensive lead, and it's going to be probably a higher quality lead than you're going to get from Facebook. So expect to pay a lot more per lead. The big difference you're going to see, though, is those leads are going to close at a much higher rate than the ones on Facebook. So just because you're getting $5 leads on Facebook and you may be paying $50 for a lead on PPC or Google LSA ads, you got to understand that what your close rate is.
Right.
Your close rate's going to be way higher. It's probably going to be cheaper to go to LSA route and the PPC route when you start adding up how much it's costing for Facebook leads at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. The people that are successful with Facebook ads, they have a good what's it called? Follow up
Offer too.
Yeah.
Offer
So offer. Yeah. You got to have a good offer and you got to have a good follow up. The Harvard, I think it was the Harvard Business Review. They did a study a couple years ago.
Justin's coming with the facts today.
Yeah. They did a study a couple years ago, and they said, when it comes to lead response, so if somebody sends you a lead form on Facebook, for instance, you, after 15 minutes, that the chance of you closing that lead drops from like 50% almost down to like 5%. So if you can't call within the first 15 minutes of that person submitting a form, your chance of closing that lead falls dramatically.
Well, that's a good use case for AI right there then.
Yeah.
It's easy to put a workflow, through Service Connect Pro. I'm not going to tout our own software thing, but in there you can create a workflow where if you get a Facebook form to come in through one of your campaigns, you can have an AI bot start having a conversation with that person until you can come over and take it in.
Right.
So you'll reply almost immediately in the messenger, or you can do a text messages. And like I say, that will cut that down to nothing. I mean, you'll have almost instant communication times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you're going to be on Facebook, you're going to have to be quick.
Yeah. And you gotta have, it's a different strategy than Google leads.
Right.
Because people, like I said, the psychology with these people it's completely different. On Facebook, and they're not searching for services. They're
Right.
looking for people's cats and dogs and children and stuff like that.
Right. But you can't sleep on those Google ads either. If a lead comes in, I think an instant response is important.
No,
so
I mean, the faster you respond, the better.
at the very minimum, if somebody, you're going to answer the phone call or have an AI agent answer the phone call if they call. So that's typically taken care of. Voicemail is the death of you. You don't want anybody going to your voicemail when they call on you. So that's why it's important, like we talked earlier, to get those AI agents answering the phone if you can't answer it. But also, a lot of people forget about the email forms that come in. A lot of requests come in through email forms on a website, and it takes 20, 30, 45 minutes for somebody to respond, or maybe the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So even setting up a quick automation. So as soon as that form is submitted, maybe a minute later, you follow up. Hey, just want to let you know we received your phone. We'll be reaching out to you in a few minutes to confirm your appointment. Give them some type of response so they know that they reached somebody and they're not just waiting, oh, did that company actually get my lead or not?
Right.
Also, if for some reason you do miss a call, text backs are very easy to set up. Shoot a text message. As soon as, hey, sorry, we were on the phone. We're going to call you back shortly. Have some kind of message to let them know, hey, you didn't just call us and forget about it. The last thing you want to do is lose a good lead because of your follow-up.
Right.
Yeah, leads are expensive wherever you're going to get. They're not going to be cheap. So
if you're paying for them, you need to try to close them.
Right, in any kind of way you can. Also, too, one thing that we didn't talk about here when we're running ads, a lot of people will go and create the ads. And this is mostly people who aren't running ads for a living. They're going to go ahead and create Facebook ads. They're going to go ahead and create Google ads. They pay $50 a click on Google. Oh, all right, maybe $15 a click for a click on Google, and nobody takes action on a website, and then that's the end of it. You just wasted $15. So I think retargeting campaigns are extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
So especially for the bigger purchases, like if it's going to be an installs or generator installs, people are shopping around. So they went to your website. They didn't make a decision yet.
Right.
So what you need to do is you set the retargeting campaigns up to start retargeting them on other platforms. So you're going to have Facebook ads coming. Maybe you have some videos that are showing installations that are complete and happy customer testimonials.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you start doing, hey, here we have a special going on right now. Get a 10-year warranty at no charge. Those are highly important because while they're still making their decision, you need to be upfront in their face, because if your competition is doing this, they're the ones that's retargeting and you're not. Guess who they're calling? Because they didn't make their decision.
You're going to be forgotten.
Right. Company A and Company B. Oh, y'all are both look like y'all got great companies. Look, y'all have 5-star reviews. Y'all licensed. Y'all are both in my neighborhood, local. Y'all both have maintenance agreements. At that point, you need to be top of mind. And the way to be top of mind is those retargeting campaigns. So when they decide to pull the trigger, it's you that they're pulling the trigger on and not your competition.
Right.
Because retargeting is cheap. That's the cheapest advertising you can do. And it will help you close a lot of those leads that come from Google that, didn't close. Right. And you don't want to waste that money. So I think retargeting campaigns, if you're spending money on ads, you need to have a retargeting campaign running as well. It's a couple $100 a month. If not, I promise you're losing a lot more money by not having it than having it,
Okay.
All right.
This next person kind of wants to know if they're creating their ads correctly. So this is from the subreddit r/Google Ads. They said, am I doing my Google Ads campaign right? Need advice as a beginner HVAC business. Hey everyone, I recently started managing my own Google Ads.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you. He's doing them wrong. I'm going to let you finish it, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're starting your own HVAC company and you are an HVAC technician, you are going to waste some money on Google.
Yep.
But go ahead. Let's hear. Google's not to be played with.
Hey everyone, I've recently started managing my own Google Ads campaign for my HVAC business. I'm completely new to ads, but trying to learn everything properly. Here's what I've done so far. Created a new campaign myself, added 3 ad groups since it's for HVAC, using broad match for now, set bidding to maximum clicks, added a bunch of negative keywords to block irrelevant searches. CPC is around R8, while top page bids are for some keywords are around R34 to R54. After 2 to 3 days, I got about 4 clicks and 180 impressions. The issue is I'm still getting some irrelevant clicks like 24,000 BTU aircon and my car gas refill, even though I added negatives. I'm starting to worry maybe my CPC is too low or my setup isn't effective. I made sure my landing page is super relevant with all the right HVAC keywords. Can anyone experience tell me if I'm doing the things right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This guy will be putting negative keywords in for months before he gets anything worthwhile. So
if he's using broad match, he's going to get a bunch of trash.
Right. You can't begin to think of all the negative keywords you have to put in. You will be so surprised at what people are searching.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, if you go with someone who has experienced an HVAC AdWord buys, they've been doing it for years. They have negative keyword lists they can implement automatically. The first thing we do for a customer, we have a negative keyword list that we implement, which is probably, can't even tell you how many words it is right now.
Oh, it's thousands.
It's thousands, and it's filtering out the irrelevant searches like for all the car stuff.
That's a big one for just cars.
Right. We got an
Vehicles.
entire list for just automotive. Like, it's that much.
All right.
So that's kind of exactly what I was thinking before I even read this. I knew the mistakes he was going to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. This is expected because this is what Google's going to tell you to do.
Yeah, 100%. The broad match. Google always pushes broad match.
Right.
But that is the worst thing you can do if you're going for something very specific, like AC repair services.
Right.
AC installation services. Because Google, if you use broad match and you're just and you don't have any negative keywords,
right?
He has a few, but it'll pick up on all kinds of different air conditions.
You're gonna get window units. You're gonna get trailers. You're gonna get RVs. You're gonna get cars. And the messed up thing is you're going to get more of those than home AC.
Yeah.
Especially
the vehicles.
Right. And, there's so many people searching for it. So, yeah, I would typically, Google is trying to make money. So if you aren't well versed in Google, I would stay away from running Google campaigns. I would never tell anybody to run a Google ad campaign if they don't do that for a living. That is a full-time job, especially starting a new campaign. This person right here is going to be literally, it's going to take 4 or 5 months before he gets a decent click-through, a decent price on his PPC, because he's going to be wasting all his money on terms that it's going to take him months and months and months to get out, because he's not going to realize what people are searching for until they search it.
It also depends on his budget. He didn't tell us what his budget was, but if he's a brand new company,
right,
his budget ain't very high.
No, and I guarantee 98% of his budget is being wasted on trash keywords right now. Your best bet, if I was a brand new company, you know what I'm going to say. It ain't Google ads, it's LSA.
Right.
Why don't you tell them, talk about LSA and how it's so much easier it is to set up than Google ads. Google ads is just not the right platform,
right,
to start for somebody who don't know
with Google ads. With LSA, first you're sitting at the very top of the page,
right?
And the setup, it can be a little bit cumbersome if you don't have all your documents. But once you have your HVAC license and your all your state documents, stuff like that, you just upload them to Google. Bam. Wait a couple weeks. Sometimes, depending on Google, I've seen accounts get approved in a week. I've seen accounts get approved in 2 months. So it really all depends. But anyway, with Google LSA, you're basically just you're when you receive a lead, you're paying for the lead itself. It's a pay per lead model, whereas with Google search ads, you're paying for the click, and sometimes those clicks can get super expensive. But with LSA, what we have seen here at ServiceHawk is we get a higher quality lead than the search ads, especially in the very beginning, because like Leigh was saying, in the very beginning, you got to develop this keyword negative keyword list, especially if you don't have one. And that can take months to really develop and start honing in until you start getting, you start seeing more relevant search terms come through. But
right. So if you have somebody that can jumpstart that for you, and
Right.
is in there all the time optimizing, because Google Ads takes a lot of optimization, continued optimization at that. It's
Yes.
not something you set and you forget it. So I always tell people it's almost a full-time job. If you can't dedicate at least 2 hours a day on your Google Ads, like be going through there, make sure the leads are tracking, conversion tracking at that. That's another thing.
He probably set that up.
Is conversion tracking set up? If you don't have conversion tracking set up right, Google doesn't know how to optimize. I mean, I guess you can optimize for clicks, but that you're going to get a lot of terrible traffic.
Right.
You need to be able to optimize. And if you can't optimize for conversions, there's no point of running Google Ads in my book. I would stay away from Google Ads unless you had 2 hours a day. You had conversion tracking going on. And I really think you need to be AdWords certified too. I wouldn't run ads if you're not AdWords certified.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because there's just too many levers to pull and you can waste a whole lot of money. They made LSA for people who wanted to just run ads. I feel like LSA, it's easy setup. You don't have a whole lot of optimizations you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be your lowest hanging fruit. It's people that are looking for, like you say, you're at the top of the rankings, and it's easy setup. So first step, if you want to get into running Google Ads, start at LSA, get some money, hire a professional to do your Google Ads, because how many times we have people say Google Ads didn't work? It's almost
probably everybody that we've signed that has run Google Ads in the past. They're very skeptical of doing it
because they all try to do it themselves.
Right.
And then when they have a team, we have a whole team of people here running Google Ads. When you have a team doing it and that can spend the time in there, pulling out the right keywords, getting your negative keywords list started right at the bat, you're going to have a much better result. So I think if it's a DIY situation where you can't afford anybody, stick to LSA. Wait till you can hire an ads expert before you go to Google Ads.
Yep.
That's my final word.
I agree.
This next comment is also about Google Ads and how terrible they are, but they say they're not a beginner. They tell what budget they give us, and then they also talk about having a negative keyword list. So they have some idea of how to use Google, but they're still having problems. So let's see. This is from the subreddit r/Google Leads. They say Google Ads is done. I've been running Google Ads for years, and I'm not a beginner, and I know how to run campaigns properly. I run a service-based lead gen business that's usually been profitable, but at this point, I feel like Google Ads has completely ruined the platform, and I'm close to done ad closing my account. I set a daily budget of £300, and over 60% of that spend goes towards search terms I can't even see. How is that acceptable? I'm literally paying for clicks with zero visibility. This is daylight robbery. CPCs keep climbing while results keep dropping. What used to balance out into profit now just feels like burning cash. This month has been the worst yet. I had a campaign that was top performing. Auction Insights even showed it was outperforming my competitors. Then out of nowhere, it collapsed. The dashboard still shows clicks and conversions, but the reality is no calls, no inquiries, nothing. It's like smoke and mirrors.
Something's not set up right. Showing clicks and conversions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
She said there's also this weird cycle, 3 days of good performance, and then the fourth day the numbers look exactly the same, but leads completely vanish. The account says conversions are happening, but there's nothing coming through in real life. It makes me question if the whole thing is just inflated numbers. And don't get me started on the budget trap. You finally get a campaign working on a low spend, then Google slaps you with a limited by budget. So you increase the budget, expecting to scale, but performance completely falls apart. You end up getting more clicks for less in terms of ratio. It makes zero sense.
Yeah. So some of this I feel is true. A lot of it seems like there's something going on. I like the thing she just said about limited by budget, and she's throwing more budget. Well, I think there's a fine line you got to follow when it comes to that. Because you're right. If you start putting it, Google's going to spend the money you give them.
Right.
And I think you need, if you're not running the ads with a clear target, hey, I want to spend X amount of dollars per lead, I think you're going to fail, because you're going to start spending more money. You can't just shove a bunch of money and expect it just to scale. So you got to keep an eye on that cost per lead and where it's going. And when you find that happy spot where you're at, I wouldn't start throwing more money into it. I would expand to other cities, other areas, not just try to throw more money at the budget. I don't think that's the right move. as far as the search terms she can't see, I don't know what they're talking about right here. Maybe she's talking about pounds, so it could be European. Maybe there's some
I know
privacy
what she's
stuff.
talking
Or
about.
she?
Yeah, there's sometimes when you go to search terms, like you can't see. It'll tell you that you got so many clicks, but some clicks, some impressions, it says something else. It won't show you. It won't show on the keyword list.
Okay.
It's like keywords that they don't want to show you or something.
Is that like search partners, or is it just regular search terms?
Yeah, search terms. So yeah, that I understand what she's saying there. In regards to what she was saying about the throwing more money at a campaign that's performing, I've seen that as well. But that is because Google is almost when you give Google more money, you're basically it's got to go into this relearning phase, and it will come back. But when you initially give the campaign more money, sometimes you'll notice that the cost per lead does go up. But what I've noticed is you let it ride out for a little bit, that cost per lead goes up, but it comes back down.
Right. You have to track it though. You can't just start throwing it in there and expect that you're gonna have this great.
A lot of people freak out when they see the cost per lead go up after they gave it more money, and they're like, "What's going on?" And it's because Google basically reset, but it has your data showing, it has your past data that it's optimizing for. So it's going to probably go up a little bit, but it's going to come back down.
Yeah. I think there's there's some quirks with Google, but I think that's why it's important to have someone who's in there that's kind of separated from it.
Right.
It's not going to pull the trigger and pull a campaign just because the cost per clicks went up or they didn't convert in 3 days. Like you're looking at the long-term monthly volume of the campaign. I would never look at daily items anytime I'm trying to make decisions.
Right.
That's not enough data unless you're spending a whole bunch of money. And she's already saying it's a low budget campaign. So, if you're running a low budgets, it's going to take a while to get enough information to be able to make decisions like that. You don't want to just pull triggers based off of a couple of days. I think it can be reliable, stable, and you can plan a business around it. I never think that Google Ads is the only source, though. You should not have a single source of your lead generation coming through. That's why it's important to run on different platforms. Run on LSA, run on Google Ads, run some stuff on Facebook. That way, if you're having an off day on Google Ads and things like that, it's not going to destroy your business. You don't want to rely on one place for leads. You have to kind of.
You got to be omnipresent.
Right. You got to be in different places, different time, not have one source for all your cheese, That's an issue right there. So I wouldn't build my business around Google Ads. That's just not a great idea.
No.
So
different platforms, different strategies.
Yep. And they all have their place. I think you just need to be consistent, keep track of your cost per lead. And I like consistent budgets on it too. Like I would rather run $1,500 a month than run $5,000 a month, run out of money, and then have to pull it and put $500 next month and then $3,000 next month.
You're just running in place at that point.
Right. Run something consistent.
Yeah.
And then that way you can start to understand your lead cost. What's the cost per lead? Then you can make a decision if that's the right platform for you or not. So I would say consistency is key. If Google Ads are showing conversions and you're saying there's no calls, no forms, something's wrong there. Yeah. I've never seen Google just inflate conversions. That conversion data is coming from somewhere. So you need to track it down and see where it's coming from. Right. Maybe it's, you can have a phone number in there that's ringing to the wrong place or something.
You might be counting all conversions maybe.
Right. Yeah. That's she may be on all conversions and it might be set up.
because all conversions, it's going to track. I mean, it's going to catch everything, but if it's not what you're optimizing for, and you might show 50 conversions, but your actual conversions is like, 15, So she needs to go dig into those conversions to see what it is. Is it an actual lead conversion, a primary conversion that she's trying to set up, or is it just set to all conversions? Right. Because in my past, every time I'm looking at it, like if I got a discrepancy, it's usually Google is lower than what I'm actually showing, in my opinion. Like, it's either an integration from the phone, from our call tracking that might not have fired into Google. I don't typically see inflated conversions unless she's looking at all conversions. And
that's where she's wrong. I mean, you can't be looking at all conversions. You got to be looking at what the campaign's set to convert on.
Right.
A phone call, a lead form, or anything like that. Could be also to like a site link that she got somewhere. Maybe that's firing off conversions, and she needs to kind of dig into there because I think there's more to that story. Anything else for you today?
No.
Anything from you, Alexis?
No.
All right. Well, y'all have a great one, and I hope you join us next time.
Peace.
Later.
Thanks for listening to Local Service Legends. If you're serious about building a business that lasts, not one you have to sell, you're in the right place. For more resources to grow your HVAC or electrical company, head over to servicehawk.io. And if you're wondering how you stack up against others in the industry, click Get Your Free Audit. We'll show you what's working, what's costing you jobs, and how to own your market for good. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and keep building your legacy.